Yeah.
Somewhere in this room, thank you lads, somewhere in this room, there's somebody who's just a Sunday person, and does not know why I introduced you by Clay Dix.
Oh, that's right.
They just missed the 72-hour setup to that joke.
I did sign more than one Loud and Swain CD, Clay Dix. By request.
Rob came to me. I want you to know that whole bit, reminder, for those of you who've been here the whole time, reminder that bit was started by Adam Stoney Rose, not by us. And so we just picked up the ball and ran with it. And so, and I'm saying that to you, the collective, but also to you, because after photo ops, Rob came back to me and he said, I just had to manhandle a clay phallus for a photo op.
It's true.
And I hate you. And I'm like, I didn't make the clay phallus.
This is a typical Richard Spade bit.
Secondly, I just took the Adam Rose comedy and
I just
fanned the flames, if you will.
Yeah, I just took the wheelbarrow and I just went, boop, and I watched it roll down the hill. There it goes. Whoop, over a bump and up, keep still going. Oh well, there it goes, wheelbarrow. Hey, it's wheelbarrow town. Watch out for the wheelbarrow, everybody. Whoa, the wheelbarrow, whoa. Where'd it come from? I don't know. I'm just up here on the top of this hill. That's so typical you. It's your old Perth thing.
God, Rob hates Perth.
I don't.
It's unbelievable.
I don't hate Perth.
You know, Rob, literally, I mean, I've never seen a man hate a city.
I said that. I've never.
At this point, you don't need to say it. The word is out.
I didn't even know where it is in Australia.
Oh, you're dismissal of it like that. I don't even know where it is. Pshaw. You know what they call people in Perth? Perthans.
Really?
Nope.
Pertheteers. Richard decided to tell Australia at a convention that tells one person who was from Perth that I hated Perth. As a response to her saying, I love you, Richard, and he was like, oh, well, where are you from? She said, Perth. He was like, Rob hates Perth. And she, with tears in her eyes, looked at me and was like, we take offense to that. We take offense to that. Yeah. I don't hate it. I've never been there. I don't hate anything.
And then I thought maybe I was wrong. Maybe you didn't hate Perth. But then I saw all the T-shirts that say you hate Perth.
If you Google Rob hates Perth, you'll see what I'm talking about.
If you Google Rob and the letter H, it'll finish.
Hates Perth? That's right.
It'll fill in together.
Yeah. And I go to him, I'm like, you see creative? I'm just standing here.
If you do Rob C, by the end of this week, like Rob's Clay Dix.
Dear God. My poor children, if they ever try to Google me. So anyway, yeah. I still have people approaching me in the street saying, it's not a bad place, Perth, you should try it. I never said people have sent us memory a Perth calendar in the mail that's still hanging on the wall.
Yeah.
It's like 2 years old, but it's still hanging on the wall, Perth calendar. As far as we know, it's March 2016.
At least in Perth, where time stands still.
That's right.
Should we take questions? All right, you right there. We'll start with you right over here. This is where we'll start, right here.
Hi, my name is Hannah, and my question is how do you feel your two characters would react if they realized that they had a strong fan base that would kill and or die for their character?
It's funny, Robbie's always talking about this. Papa?
So you're asking if Chuck or God found out that he had a strong fan base who would die for it. Well, God would be like, well, yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, he's God.
That's been happening for years. But Chuck would hardly believe it. You know, Chuck, the sort of disgruntled writer.
I think we should also be careful if we say our fans would die for. I think it's a big leap.
Yeah, we don't.
I think our fans would jaywalk for us, or you know, I think there's some lines they would cross. You know what I mean? But I don't know.
Yeah, let's everybody stay alive. We're all in this together.
Even jaywalking, kids, jaywalking, cross on the green, in between. There's no rush. We're not going anywhere. You don't have to jaywalk.
Rip the tag off the
we can all, you know, just go dancing together or something.
Are you hitting on the fandom?
I am. Is that wrong? What about you, Rich? I think Loki would love it.
He'd love it. Be a big fan of the fans who want to off themselves for him.
Yep.
No, he would not want anyone to hurt themselves. This is all about staying safe.
That's right.
And they would encourage the fans to stay safe and to keep being fans, because if all the fans were to off themselves for them, they would be fanless, and then they'd have to start all over, and it would take a generation to raise new fans, and that would be time-consuming and off-point. So I'm going to say safety first, kids. That's what I'm going to say, right?
Safety first.
Safety first.
Hashtag safety first.
Hashtag safety first. Thank you for your question. That makes sense.
Can I ask you a question that I really don't know the answer to?
Oh.
And this is one of those questions. I'm, what now, 39? I'm older than that, but I never knew the answer to this question. I'm a father, and I feel like I should know.
Okay.
When you tell kids after they eat, they have to wait an hour before they get back in the water.
Right.
Is it medically, is that true? Or is that just a sort of a parent's lie and make their kids just behave themselves?
I think it's a parent lie. I don't know. What's the, it's a lie, right?
No reason you should have to do that, right?
There's no, I guess the whole idea is digest your food, but you never say, oh, you've eaten? Well, don't play basketball for an hour. Like, it's not, it's not like an activity thing. Right. So I think, I don't know if there's anything specific about swimming in water that would make you woozy after a full meal.
Right.
I think it's a lie.
Thank you. I just, that was my...
If there's cramping. I think it's a lie to prevent cramping.
Ah. Okay, cool. And somehow, I still don't know the answer.
Yeah.
Yes, my lady.
Hi, I love you both, but this question is for Richard. I was wondering, I love your work as a director, and I was just wondering, when you stepped back on the set of Supernatural as a director, how it affected how you directed the cast, since you have such a long-standing relationship with them from the cons that you wouldn't have had with just any other actors that you just walked on the set with.
Right, so how's the dynamic working with people that I know from? I'd say the first time was a unique challenge, because it was the first time that I had to reframe how I was viewed by the cast and crew, and how they had to retrain how to see me. But that was after the first episode. For starters, it's the most welcoming group of people in the world. Everybody on that set, from LA production to Vancouver production to Jared Jensen and Misha, and at the time Mark Shepard, all of them were pulling for me to succeed. So I had a very, very helpful friend base of coworkers who were hoping that I would do well. So I had that kind of support, which that is a bigger gift than the minor awkwardness of shifting how you deal with people who are your coworkers. You know what I mean? And after the first episode, and I didn't totally muff the punt, they felt like, okay, when I go back to do another one, they were a little more, they were a little less kid gloves with me. And then by the third episode, it's just Rich coming in to do his thing. It's an assumed role that I have there now, which is awesome. And I love that rapport that I have with them, and will forever be grateful that everybody gave me that shot and then allowed me to pursue that passion and dream on their show.
So no pies in the face like they did with Portia?
No, they never messed with me at all. They've been nothing but gracious warm. And I'll tell you why. People are always like, what? They destroyed Misha's life. Here's why. Misha was unfireable. He was already on the show. So you can screw with Misha, and Misha's going to come back to work the next day. If I had ruined episode 1, the first time I ever directed, I never would have come back. They never would have seen me. So if they'd ruined my opportunity to do something that would have been acceptable in the producer's eyes, you wouldn't be asking me that question, because I would have one episode under my belt. And I think there was, for all the, yes, they give me a hard time in the way buddies give you a hard time, but they didn't go after the big practical jokes on me because they appreciated the fact that it was a little more fragile a situation than Misha, who was already a part of the family. Because we assume, like, oh, Rich is part of the Supernatural family. Rich hadn't worked on the show in 5 years when I started directing it. I do conventions, but I wasn't involved with the show. I was associated with the show, but not involved with it. So it was really reintroducing myself to that group of people in a different light, and I think they were really cool to be supportive in the process. Yeah, they gave me a hard time, they made fun of me, and if you were to ask them that question, they would have plenty of stories about me, They would not be shy about making fun of me in various ways, which is how guys show affection for each other, but they never went out of their way to destroy my life. Thank goodness.
Wow, that means you really like me.
Yeah,
Well, it's great to know at the end of the day they had your back, though.
I'm sorry, say it again?
I said it's great to know that at the end of the day they had your back.
100%. Rob knows I am eternally grateful to Jared Jensen, Misha, Mark, to Jeremy Carver, to Bob Singer, to Phil Screecha. I would not have directed television if those people had not been supportive, and I appreciate it. Thank you. Hey.
Hi. Okay, so my question is, so a lot of people in relationships and marriages have a list. I'm wondering who would be on your list, top 5.
I have no idea what the list would be. What do you mean?
You could
It's
cheat.
a list of 5 people that you could, anything goes.
Cheat on with.
I'm not cheating on my wife. I have no list. Not playing.
That's a good answer.
Not interested. Robbie?
Oh, jeez, where do I start? No, Listen, you can't follow that with an answer. You can't follow the guy who's.
I don't want to stand here and talk about people who are attracted.
Okay, well,
I think it's a joke, right? You're just
I know.
Yeah, it's a joke.
So.
Yeah, but it would. You know what? Here's the thing. I feel like, and I appreciate the joke, and I'm all for pranking it, but I feel like that might be disrespectful. So I have to not answer that joke. Sorry. I apologize. I'm not trying to be a stick in the mud. It's just. But I tell you what. Let's go with this. The cast of dudes.
Yes.
I'm going to name the dudes I would sleep with in Supernatural.
I like that
I'm going to rank who I would go after.
Just be very.
It's going to shock some people.
Be very careful.
It's going to shock some people.
Yeah.
Number 1, I'd like to get my hands on that burly bear, Mark Shepard.
He's number 1.
Number 1, he's angry. I feel like there'd be a tussle.
He just broke the internet.
Dude, you know what? You know what else? I just upset Mark Shepard somewhere. He's like, no.
Yeah, totally. Not if I was saying it. Okay, and then who's number 2?
No, not Tom. Tom would kill you.
So you're looking for a gentle lover?
No, you know what? I'd chase that Oscar Chow around a little bit. Switch it up.
I don't even know your type anymore. Huh?
Well, I mean, go from Shepard to Oscar Chow. Mix it up. And then, let's see.
Stephen.
I'm just doing 3. I'm not going to do 5. I think 5 is too much. 5, at that point, I've humped everybody in the cast. Well, you chime on in here.
I'm just listening to your freaking list, man.
Do you have a number 1?
You just finish your list and then I'll give you my list.
Okay, so I got Shepard, I got Chow.
Sebastian.
Sebastian, dude, you don't know where he's been.
What about Christian
I want to survive the experience.
Christian Keys, maybe?
Chris Key's handsome. He's a handsome dude.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, built like a brick shithouse too, you know what I'm saying? Really.
Yes, I do.
But he stabbed me. I kind of feel like that would taint the experience.
It depends on what you're into.
Adam Fergus. That's cool.
You're not wrong. I'll go with Christian. Thank you for the note. All right. Bobby?
So a Rob-less list you had there. Well, look, I like,
Ty.
I like pop culture. You know what I mean? I'm not going to go alternative or anything. I'm going to cut to the quick, man. Jensen, Jared, and Misha, man. I mean, that's
In that order? No, in order matters. You can't do it in a group.
Jensen, Misha, Jared. Because Jared would break me and I'd never have sex again.
Not Ty? You can use your
If I get to go through all 3 of them, I'd end with Jared because it would be over then. It would be all over. So
I'm really surprised you didn't put Audrey Chow on that list. Remember him as Little Mermaid?
yeah, no, he's super cute. He's super cute as Little Mermaid.
Up where they walk, up where they run.
No,
They stay all day in the sun.
I don't know. It's just not. Like we got these big manly men.
All right.
I like what I like.
Thank you for
Thank you.
Thank you for making us unelectable.
And undateable and unmarriable.
Yeah. You.
Hey, I can't follow that.
Well, please God, help us.
For some people here, Supernatural has been the TV show that influenced them growing up. I remember it as shows like Boy Meets World and Buffy, so I'm wondering what TV shows like influenced you growing up, not just shows you watched.
Influence.
When Rich and I were kids, when I would be sick from school, and that's when I remember really being able to take in TV by myself and be influenced by things. And so for me, it was Gilligan's Island. I loved Gilligan's Island. I watched all the reruns of Gilligan's Island and Brady Bunch. I mean, those are, as a kid, those are the shows that I was watching.
And interestingly, those would have been reruns when we were kids. So
they were all reruns when we were kids, yeah. But they played it so much, every day you could see a new episode. So I had mono when I was a kid, and I was home for like a month, and I watched soap operas and Gilligan's Island. And that was, I got super addicted, like Guiding Light and Gilligan's Island.
I was
Days of Our Lives.
super into two shows, I'm sure more, but two shows that I watched obsessively. I was obsessed with Bugs Bunny. And I would watch Bugs Bunny at an hour and a half Saturday mornings, and then he did 30 minutes on Sunday night. And I loved all Bugs Bunny. And I honestly think between Bugs Bunny, I think my sense of humor is more influenced by a combination of Steve Martin and Bugs Bunny than anything else, because I listened to Steve Martin records in a loop and watched Bugs Bunny. And then another TV show that with real people that I loved was Andy Griffith. I loved Andy Griffith. I thought Don Knotts was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. So, those shows.
Yeah, great shows.
Thank you.
I just want to finish my Gilligan's Island. So Gilligan's Island, certainly Bob Denver. Denver was an influence, but we loved that show. My brother and I loved that show, and my mom was like, I went to college with Dawn Wells, who played Mary Ann on the show, and then we're like, what? Oh no, you're like, what? And then sure enough, right during that era of my life, Dawn Wells comes to town, gives my mom a call, is like, let's have lunch, and my mom was like, well, you should come over to my house first. So Dawn Wells, my TV crush of the time. I'm like 8 years old.
Right.
So he comes over to my house. Mary Ann was in my house, and man, oh man.
I'm with you, man.
Still cute. To this day. She's a
oh my God,
pretty woman. Anyway, that was.
You know what another show I was really into that I bet you were too? Happy Days.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Man, I was a Happy Days fan.
Yeah, big time.
You guys ever told you the story of my dad in Happy Days? Do you know the Richard Sr.? So, some of you may have met my dad because he does these tours of Nashville. When you go to Nashville, my dad's there. My dad's an interesting personality. He was a lawyer in Nashville, and he would go to Los Angeles occasionally on business. And my favorite show was Happy Days, and I was a massive Fonzie fan. And my dad was in Los Angeles finishing a business trip, driving around, and he was driving past Paramount Studios. My dad has these sort of life lessons that he's imparted to me and to my sisters, and one of them was, if you see a line, get in it, and then figure out what it's for. Truly. So he was driving down Paramount Studios, he saw a line, so he parked and he got in it. And he said, what am I in line for? And he said, it's a taping of Happy Days. And he's like, ooh, cool. So he stayed in line, and he's in a line of tourists waiting for Happy Days to get it on the studio. And he said, I kept seeing these men in suits walk up to the guard and kind of wave and walk through. He goes, and I was wearing a suit. So I walked around, or the guard went, and the guard gave a nod, and Dad walked on in. So now Dad's on the Paramount lot following the guys with suits. And he goes to the soundstage, he sees another small line of people going in to the soundstage. And he goes into the soundstage, and it's the Happy Days set. And he's now in line, and the page goes, the taping's about to start, sir, do you have a seat? And he's like, I was, and somebody in the front row goes, here, this room here, you sit down. He's like, okay, great. So my dad sat down, he's gonna watch the taping of Happy Days. And the gentleman, he looks to his left, and the gentleman who had slid over for him was Paul Anka. So he's like, oh, I'm next to Paul Anka. Oh. He watches the entire taping of an episode of Happy Days. And at the end, everybody stands up to leave, except Paul Anka, So my dad doesn't stand up to leave. And everybody leaves, and Paul Anka walks down onto the set. So my dad walks down onto the set and is walking around chatting with people, and they wheel out a grand piano. The entire cast comes back out onto the stage. Paul Anka sits down on the piano, and they bring out a cake because it's Aaron Moran's birthday, who played Joni. So the cast, crew, and my father gathered around and sang happy birthday to Aaron Moran while Paul Anka played the piano. And it was around that time that my dad thought, I'm going to go on a limb here and say I've worn out my welcome. There's at some point here somebody's going to go, who's that guy? But before he did, he pulled out his notepad from the Hilton where he's staying in Los Angeles, went over to Henry Winkler and he said, my son's a huge fan, may I have your autograph? And Henry Winkler said, absolutely. And he signed big R, hello, Henry Winkler, and I have that in my office to this very day. That is my father's Happy Days story.
Henry Winkler, the nicest man in Hollywood.
Henry Winkler?
Yeah, I did a movie with him.
Just so nice.
Just the nicest guy.
I've never met him, but just that story.
Yeah, that sounds like something he would do.
Yeah.
Fonzie, meanwhile, Fonzie was like the coolest, most unapproachable dude. Like I was like, I wouldn't wanna.
Oh, true.
But like Henry Winkler's the sweetheart.
Isn't that amazing?
That's a great story.
Isn't it? I love that story.
Oh my God.
You.
Hi. My question is a two-parter about directing. So we do get a little bit of jargon when you guys talk to us about it, about, full coverage shots and, up close and personal. Is there a particular one that you prefer better or something that's easier for you?
So, jargon-wise?
Yeah.
Well, I noticed that there's a little bit of a different jargon between Canada and the United States and England and the United States. I know you've worked in Europe. It's interesting to see what crews use. It's nothing I don't prefer anything per se. I like figuring it out. To me, it's like you're getting a club. You're like, what are we doing? We're like, for example, there's this term, and that Rob knows this too. This is not inside baseball directing stuff. It's just they will, when you talk about shooting something, they will say, so on the day when we do this, you're shooting it that day. But it's a phrase like we're rehearsing, like so on the day the camera will slide over. And it just means when we get there. But when I was new to acting and I did a job and they were talking about, so on the day we're going to do this, and I thought, what day? Well, I'm only here for today. What do you like? Why am I here if we're not doing this today? I enjoy a lot of the terminology, and I wish I knew the etymology of all of it. I know that like in the United States, you call the last shot of the day the martini. So they will announce, this is the martini. It's a legitimate piece of information that you tell a crew so they can start wrapping up the gear that's not being used at that moment. This is the martini.
Because back in the day, that was
they would start drinking.
They started making martinis.
In Canada, they call it the window. This is the window. And I had to ask what that means because they used to line up the window and get paid at the end of the day. So the Americans were getting hammered and the Canadians were getting paid. But for both, interestingly, for both Canada and the United States, the second to last shot of the day is called the Abbey Singer.
Okay.
The Abbey Singer is the second to last shot on any set in Canada, named for a famous first AD.
That I met.
You met Abbey Singer?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I've never met Abbey Singer.
That's Abby Singer, yeah.
Where'd you meet Abbey Singer?
He was on a set like 15 years ago, and I met him. He's old now, maybe passed away now, but it was like 15 years ago, and I think it was on the set of Threshold, the show I did on CBS. Anyway, and Brent Spiner was like, do you know what that was you just met? I'm like, no. He's like, it's the Abbey Singer. That's Abbey Singer.
That's crazy that you actually met Abbey Singer.
Yeah.
That's cool. So he was just famous for being a great first AD and also for keeping crews motivated and focused, and he would get them all the way to the last shot, and then there'd be one more. So he'd fool them. It was like a gag. He would like keep everybody. It's like walking backwards and your kid's learning to swim. He's like, we're almost done. Okay, next one is the last one. So the second to last is the Abbey Singer, and then if you add a shot, and this is the last one I'm going to do. If you add a shot at the end of the day. Like you've called the martini, you've called the window, but you forgot something. So you have to, this is mildly offensive, I'm going to tell you right now, I'll warn you. In Canada, it's called the Bertuzzi. Bertuzzi was a hockey player that was injured years ago, by getting illegally blindsided by another player. And they call adding a shot the Bertuzzi because the one you didn't see coming. It's an extra shot. And the reason why I say it's offensive is in the United States, it's called the JFK.
Oh!
Yeah. Listen, crews are an unsavory lot.
Yeah.
So
My favorite crew and industry lingo thing is taillights.
Taillights.
We're taillights at 9:30.
Yeah.
Meaning we've got to be wrapped, done, and the cars are driving away.
Yeah.
You just see taillights.
Yeah, there's a lot of that language that I mean, I love it. I love the sort of inside lingo. You know what I mean? And when you're not even young, when you're just changing, you listen to other departments, you could be veterans like Rob and me, but if you lean into another department, they're talking. I mean, listen to a grip order up a light package. We don't know what the hell they're talking about. They have all these different bing, 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 bing. You know, it's all this sort of lingo that has been passed down for generations in the industry, but it doesn't mean anything. I think that Jared Jensen invented one. I'm sure they talked about it. Have you heard them use the term the Gary Busey? The Gary Busey is something that I've only heard Jared Jensen and the camera team at Supernatural use. I'm almost sure they invented this term. And that is, if you say, and you'll say like, you can do a half Busey or a full Busey. And a half Busey is you're walking out of the scene and you do this. That's a half Busey. And a full Busey is that's it. So you either get like a little bit of look over your shoulder, do you want the camera to see, or a full look over your shoulder.
Why? Why Gary Busey?
I have no idea. There's something for you to ask Jared and Jensen next time you get to ask them a question. Why the hell do they call it a Gary Busey? Anyway, thank you for your question. I could literally talk about this for hours. I found it fascinating. Thank you for the question. You.
Gentlemen, thank you for being here. My wife and I we spend a lot of our time researching cryptids and creatures and all that stuff, and the show has some pretty obscure but accurate creatures on it. As a director, I was just curious, do you know how the writers discover or figure out, these different things that they bring onto the screen?
Gosh, I wish I had an answer for you. I don't. I know that they're all avid researchers and readers, and most of them, especially this generation of writers that are there now, are fans of this kind of genre show, this genre universe to start with. So probably are well versed in folklore and comics and things like that I'm not necessarily well versed in. They pull from. And I think a lot of it also is this good old-fashioned imagination. So they probably combine what their roots are. I don't have a specific answer for you, but I remember talking to Ginny Klein about Just My Imagination. And I don't want to misquote her, but I was talking about the origin of that idea, and she had said that she had found somewhere that there was a mythology about friends, sort of guardian angel friend idea that she had taken and turned into something. And I think Xana may have been the word she found for it, or something close to it that she changed mildly. But it's obviously a very bright bunch of people who are doing a lot of research in various formats. So, I'm sure they're gleaning it from all over.
Follow-up question, what's your drink of choice?
Right now, I think mezcal margarita. I'm in the mezcal.
Mezcal margarita's good. We're both into mezcal right now.
Yeah, we're both into mezcal.
Also, I like mezcal old fashioned. Is quite tasty.
Oh, mezcal old fashioned. I've got to try that.
Yeah, try it.
That's mezcal margarita, spicy mezcal margarita. That's a darn good drink.
Well, that's what I'm ordering now. Thank you.
Yeah, go enjoy it. Yo.
Hey. I wanted to thank you both for being basically the heart and soul of these conventions and all the work you do. I think you're the only ones as tired as we are by the end of the week. My question is, what's the worst piece of parenting advice you've ever received?
Worst piece of parenting advice? I've got it. I know what this is. And I want to say that I know parenting is a multifaceted pursuit for people. So if you don't agree with me or whatever, it's not meant to be personal. It's just a piece of advice that I got, that my wife and I got when our baby was young. We were interviewing pediatricians, and before we had our first baby, or right as we had our first baby, and we interviewed a pediatrician who said, "Don't nurse your baby all the time." He goes, "Your baby," and we had already been told, like, a baby will only be hungry when it's hungry, and it'll nurse and it'll stop when it's full. The baby sort of guides its own need for whether it's comfort or hunger or whatever, and my wife was going to breastfeed the baby. He said, don't over breastfeed the baby. Don't just feed the baby because it cries or you think it's hungry, because that will lead to childhood obesity. And I thought that was the stupidest fucking thing I'd ever heard, and we did not go to that pediatrician. Robbie?
Gosh, the only thing that comes to mind, this is kind of an odd answer to the question, is that I was doing a TV show, Come to Papa, with Steve Carell at the time we gave birth to my son Calvin. And Steve Carell had just got The Office, and had also recently had a baby. And he said, your whole life's gonna change. Like, just great things are gonna start to happen. It happened to me. I got, I got the Steve Carey, or the Jim Carrey movie, and now I'm leading The Office. Like, dude, he's the sweetest guy. This is not lambasting him. He's a great guy. But he's like, your life's gonna change. Everything's gonna change. Right after that, the show I was on with him was canceled. And it was just no work for like 2 years. So I was thinking that was a really bad advice for me, Steve Carell. Thank you so much. And every time I see him now, I'm like, yeah, still wait for that break, Steve Carell. My kid's 15. But anyway.
I'm glad you called my first and last name.
Yeah. But yeah, the other thing is that is just the advice I would give potential parents is don't tell people the names you're thinking for your kid, because they will tell you how much they hate it. And then you're gonna name your kid that, and you'll always remember that. You know what I mean? Like, so if you say, like, we're gonna name him Gary. It's a bad name. You're like, Well, anyway, meet baby Gary. You know what I'm saying? Like, just don't tell him. You know what I mean?
Couldn't agree more. Couldn't agree more. So, it's nobody's business.
Exactly. Any name you name your baby is great. It's a great
the right name for that baby. Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
You.
Hi, I love you both, but my question's for Richard. Which Lucifer do you like better, Tom Ellis or Mark Pasolino?
Oh, different Lucifers. Like them both the same. Obviously, Tom Ellis has never killed me, so that gives him some, brownie points. It's been fun seeing both those dudes and how they portray that character and what they bring to it. It's a testament to great actors that they can take a character, and there's so many different ways to do it and dial it in and make it interesting. And it's been a real treat to watch both those guys do it and direct both those guys in that role.
Not everybody can say that they've directed 2 different Lucifers.
When I told Robbie I was doing Lucifer, he's like, really? He's like, wow, you're really having a hard time getting out of the Bible Belt. Kind of stuck in there. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
So Kings of Con and Kings of Conversation were amazing. I absolutely loved them. They made me laugh so hard.
Thank you.
I was just wondering, what was your guys' initial reaction to the drinking game that happened during Kings of Conversation?
I don't know if I remember the drinking game that happened during...
Every time we said...
Every time Richard said hyphen boom, people take a drink. Every
Hyphen
time Rob
boom,
sat up
right.
and sat down and sat up again, take a drink, and it was
Right.
the whole thing.
Oh, I thought it was so weird. The audience participation we got from both those shows was great.
It literally became a part of, we had cue cards. Well, not someone holding it, but it's actually on a monitor. We had cue cards of what's coming up, what we say. That drinking game became a part of the show, that we would mention that, and we'd say,
about that, yeah.
Yeah. So no, that was so fun. That was what was great about Kings of Conversation, is we got to incorporate fans' reaction in the show and show fan art and things like that, which we still, we got fan art all up in our office, framed in the office. It was so just so awesome to have that reaction.
So it was great. We love the fact that fans got into it and were along for the ride. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hey, man.
So I actually have one for each of you, if that's all right.
Sure.
To start, Rob, in the season 5 episode, The End, the alternate version of Chuck, was that still God, or was that just the meat suit at that point? Or what do you think, rather?
You're saying at the end of that episode...
No, the season 5 episode titled The End, when Dean was sent to that alternate reality.
Gotcha. Yeah, this is just Rob talking. I don't know exactly what they had in mind, but I think that was the meat suit. I don't think that was still. I think that was the body of Chuck, but I don't think it was God Chuck. That's just that's my guess, because it was a completely different. I do remember at that time asking the question, because at that time I didn't know it was going to be God, but. So I just said, am I still the prophet here? And they're like, no, you're not. You're just a guy that they know who's super neurotic about toilet paper. You know, that was all I knew. So I really got a kick out of that episode because I got to be, you know, just kind of, I was like radar for MASH. You know what I mean? Like I didn't actually go out to battle, but I just had like a checklist, you know? Yeah, that's my opinion about that it was just the meat suit.
And for Rich, the obvious question that I'm sure a lot of people are thinking of, do you think Gabriel's really dead this time?
What do you guys think? No. I don't know, man. Because I thought he was dead the first time, and then he wasn't. Look, you never know in Supernatural, in the universe. You just don't know, or you don't know anything. So I don't know. I'm not going to deflect the answer. I just don't know. I don't know if Loki pulled a fast one and isn't really dead, because he's got all kinds of powers that could have set that whole thing up. I don't know. And it really depends on where the writer's imagination goes and where the story goes, and if that needs to be part of it. I certainly hope he's not dead. That would be fun to have him back. But I don't know. I guess I would get to say that I'm inclined to think, if I had to say yes or no, I'd say I'm inclined to say that he is dead. I kind of feel like that storyline played out. And I think they did a great job of telling the origin story and making that a very interesting return to his roots and letting us see what that looked like. So if Gabriel really is dead, he really got some good storytelling out of the whole experience, which I'm grateful for.
Thank you.
What do you think? You think he's dead?
I think he's a mischievous little bastard, and he probably pulled a fast one again.
Fingers crossed you're right.
Here's open.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hey.
So a friend of mine that I had just met over the weekend, we were just talking. So you know how Chuck isn't, or God isn't making angels anymore? So are angels making angels like the old-fashioned way? Is like that even possible? Or are there just no more angels, period?
Is the old-fashioned way that a guy angel and a woman angel get together and they decide they love each other very much? They lie in the grass and then boom, it's a new angel. Yeah, no, I think totally. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, look. Hey, angels are going to do what angels do, right?
Yeah.
So, I think that, was the question for Rich?
No, it was for you. You got it.
Feel free to answer both.
Yeah, Rich, feel free to jump in here, but I think they're doing it the old-fashioned way, right?
Yeah.
So there's little baby angels everywhere?
Little baby angels. Cute little baby angels.
Little baby angels.
Yeah. Which they call a Cupid. Do you know?
Cupid is a baby angel?
Isn't it? No, Cupid. Like a Cupid. What's a Cupid doll? That's like a baby doll? I thought that was an angel baby.
A cherub.
Cherub, that was the word I was looking for.
Cherub, right. Cherub. It's a heaven full of cherubs.
Yeah, cherub, that's what I was looking for, cherub.
Do angel babies poop? Thank you. Do they poop and pee?
Oh, it's amazing you and that guy are thinking the same. Do angel babies poop? No. No, they don't poop. They don't have to poop.
That's nice.
They're angels. That's one of the
perks?
Yeah, in the pamphlet. It's like, hey, congratulations, you're an angel. You never have to poop.
Well, then do they have beeholes?
No.
That's nice too.
Yeah.
That's efficient.
Yeah, no, because they don't have to poop.
Go figure.
Sorry, we run out of time. No more questions.
By the way, just so you know, we've touched on parenting and some film stuff that might be controversial, but I guarantee you we have offended people more about talking about the angel
bottoms,
beeholeless angels, and
angel bottoms.
You, ma'am.
Hi guys, my question is for Rob. I just wanted to know if you could share any stories from the set of Waiting.
Oh, yeah. We had a great time. That was so much fun. We were in New Orleans for a month, and what you saw on screen was kind of happening off screen. We were just partying our faces off in New Orleans, and we were fast friends, and I still keep in touch with a lot of those people. One of my favorite stories, God, we had so many just crazy New Orleans stories when we were out and about New Orleans. But one of my favorite stories, especially now, that I like to tell my kids who are teenagers and think I'm uncool, was that a lot of times we talk about on sets, we talk about having like set crushes. And so like, you know, it's not like you really like have a crush on somebody. It's just like, you know, my set crush is, you know, yeah, but not that, you know, but yeah, the lady who, you know, the lady electrician or whatever it is, right? And so I was out to dinner with Ryan Reynolds and Anna Faris, and Anna was talking about her set crushes, the different dudes who work on the set. They're like, ooh, you know, the boom guy is my set crush. And I said somebody, whoever. I have lots of crushes, always, my whole life. But then Ryan, who like had like the first couple weeks was like kind of more distanced from the rest of us, but then was like, oh, these people are actually really fun and funny. And then he went out with us this month, and he kind of had some catching up to do, so he kind of wanted to go out every night. Anyway, Ryan Reynolds was like, you know who my set crush is? Rob. I was like, aw, Ryan Reynolds, thanks. That's awesome. So now I thought to myself, in 15 years I'm going to tell my kids that Ryan Reynolds had a crush on me.
That Deadpool loved you.
The Deadpool thought I was cute. So anyway.
Well, thank you very much. That was my favorite movie growing up, which it probably shouldn't have been.
I love it.
But that's exciting.
I love it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You, love the outfit.
Thank you.
Hey,
Question
look at that.
for Richard. What's one of the things you and Gabriel have most in common?
Snark. I think Gabriel is, you know, has a bit of a snarky sense of humor, and I think I can tend to be that same way. And I don't know if that's because I played the character, so some of my own natural snark bled into the character, or if the character is designed to be that way. But I tend to believe that somewhere in the middle lies the truth. You know, you as an actor, you bring the most truth to whatever kind of role you're playing, so that the lines can become a little blurry between where Chuck starts and Rob ends, or Gabriel starts and Rich. There's always going to be a sliver of overlap, and I think that the sort of snarky sense of humor is probably where that overlap is for me.
Thank you, and I'll have your kielbasa waiting for you when you're done.
I love it. Thank you. You, young lady.
Hey, so I wanted to actually thank Richard for the show, given that he was the reason that I watched it. My first episode that I actually really watched was Channel Changing, and I honestly thought that you screwing with everybody was the best thing, so you actually inspired me to watch the show. But I did have a question for both of you. If God and Gabriel were both here in Vegas, what do you think they'd do? I'm actually from here, so I'm just curious what they would do if they were here.
Well, Gabriel would be at the strip clubs.
Yeah. Gabriel would definitely be somewhere topless.
And God, what would you be doing?
Or bottomless.
Trying to get Gabriel out of there and have him listen to his father for once.
For once. Let's do one more question real quick. Right over here. You get ready.
Hi, my name's Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
I think it's hilarious that you told us one of Rob's drunk stories yesterday. And I was just wondering, from the whole cast, is there any other drunk stories you could tell us?
I don't, honestly, that's one of my favorites, because it's funny.
Surely there's somebody else.
I'm trying to think. There's got to be something that has happened that is horrific.
I mean,
booze.
But we just, I don't know how, which the people can say out loud.
I know, but even the non-presentable ones aren't coming to mind. I'm trying to think if there's anything. Damn it. I know, but I'm trying to think of like, no? I'm going like, it's funny because I'm trying to think, we're going through casting and I'm like, what did Jared ever do? Or if it's Jensen, Misha, I don't know.
At the Snaps, did anyone ever like,
no? Damn it. Jason's too squeaky clean. You know?
No, but occasionally he'll have a night.
I don't recall it. I don't remember him doing anything untoward.
But there was that other time that I was really drunk.
We might have some more Rob stories.
There's the time that's, I think that might have been the same weekend or a different Comic-Con, where I was so hungover.
Oh, you had the panic attack on the floor?
Yeah, you can do that.
That was a good one, sure. We were doing live coverage from Comic-Con for GameSpot.
Billy just went like this.
We were doing live coverage for Comic-Con. So cameras follow us around. We're walking around interviewing people cosplaying.
It was the morning after that story.
Okay,
it was the morning after that story. I was so hungover.
So this dovetails into the story you already know. And we're walking around, and Robbie and I are just all improv, kind of going, well, look at that, look at this. We'd stop and interview people and all this stuff. And at one point,
it's super crowded there, right? It's super crowded. San Diego, super crowded.
Wall-to-wall people.
With a live camera following us.
And I'm like this in front, and I turn around like, hey, Robbie, what do you think? Christ! And he literally has gone pale and sweaty, and his shirt is soaked through where you could see nip. It was all visible with the naked eye. And I was like, and I thought, no joke, I thought somebody had hit him with a water balloon or something like, I thought he'd been like, hit with something. I was like, what the hell happened?
And I remember looking at him like, you know, trying to signal to him like, cut, we need to cut him. I'm having cold sweats. And he goes, live camera, holy cow, get a close-up of this one. Jeez, when you're having a panic attack, by the way, the last thing you want is attention. Okay, just FYI, next time you're having one. He's like, God, can you zoom in on this? Whoa! Now is that your sweat or what is? Can you tell us what's going on here? Your mind. That went full well, I overdrank that before.
Yeah, so we had to get him out of there, and if you ever go back and watch that footage, you'll notice that right after that moment, Rob's wearing a different shirt.
Yep.
We had to go buy him a My Little Pony shirt or something and stuff him into it.
Lesson learned.
Thank you for your question.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much. Listen, how many of you started with us on Thursday? Who's our Thursday people? And how many of you people are here right now? Raise your hand. I want you to know that this has been a fantastic 4 days. It's been spectacular, and that's all because you people have come out with great energy, great big hearts, and helped us have a great party here in Las Vegas, Nevada, celebrating a show that we all know, we all love, and we're excited to watch for its 15th season. It's an honor and a privilege, and the band is here now, which means we're signing off. This is the end of our time on stage. You still have photographs, still have autographs, but we are done with our duties, and so we're going to sing the song that we sing, and we ask you, if you know it, join us. If you don't know it, listen, and join us next time. Robbie, shall we?